Hi guys, this is Pakhare, and in this video we'll be working in Rayfire and particle flow. This is very basic setup. So as you can see, this big chunks are simulated in Rayfire, and then later on by using particle flow we can add some extra detail, extra debris to it. So it's mostly for the beginners, and then later on you can add some Fume effects. So let's get started. So I'll just create a box and let's change the color. All right, and let's name this frags. Now I'll be using a modifier, Rayfire fragmenter. Just click on fragment. So as you can see, you can real time see how it's gonna fracture the mesh. Rayfire is really a very cool plugin. Thanks for the team for it. And every time if you want a random output, you can just change the seeds. And in this case, I'll be increasing crack width. So I'm gonna keep it like this. And add a modifier, HSTS. So, and click on adaptive subdivision, click on medium, and as you can see, we get a nice rounded rocks. You can increase the resolution as you want. If you don't like rocks, you can again fracture it and again apply the modifier. Now, let's collapse this and Rayfire. So right now, this is a single geometry. As you can see, if I move this is a single mesh. So detach by element selected, and now it's individual. So select all, objects, dynamic objects, and come down here and turn on home grid as ground. It's pretty good. As you can see, it's falling apart. And let's send all these objects. So select all and send this to slipping list. So there will be inactive objects unless and until something collides with it or any force activates. So in this case, we'll be using Rayfire bomb. I'll place it here and modify the time 10. Reposition it a little bit and just add this in simulation of properties. As you can see, it's quite very low in the explosion. Increase the size and you can even reduce the angle. That's a little better. I can increase the strength, reduce the chaos, preview it again. Maybe 2.5. A little bit up. Okay. So, oops, let's, I think we should increase the timeline. So, oops, time configuration and time 200 frames. And in Rayfire also you can update it. Delete the keyframes and update the end frame. Then bake it. It's done. And let's hide this. Turn on real time. Yeah, that looks alright. Now the main part, particle flow. So I'll just drag and we'll go in particle view. So before that, what you can do is just duplicate this, and we can use these debris as a particle objects, so you don't have to create separately, and we can delete the keyframes. So this will be my debris. So I'm gonna group them and name it facts, detailed facts. So this will be used in particle flow. Okay, so let's select particle view and let's remove the unwanted stuff. Instead of position icon, we'll be needing position object. So let's add position object, and I'm gonna grab all these frags. As you can see, it's emitting, but it's from the mesh and they're not moving at all. So, and yeah, for the shapes, what we can do is we can add a shape instance. And what we're going to do is we're going to select our group, and to display it, just turn on geometry. As you can see, it's considering a single group. We need to select group members. So tick mark on group members and then play with the scale a little bit. Alright, then tick mark inherit emitter. So it's going to inherit the motion of the parent. And again, we can retime it. So go into birth. It's going to start at 10 till 11. So particles will emit for 1 frame. Again, let's play with the multiplier and some variation. That looks alright. Now let's add a gravity. So forces gravity, and we'll also require deflector, just a simple deflector. Drag. Okay. So for gravity, we need to add force. Let's hide this, so I'll get more space, more room. Okay. So operator force, grab your gravity. Currently it's too much, So let's keep the influence 100%. And here we go. And for the deflector, going to test, you can add collision, you can add collision spawn also. It depends if you want to spawn particles after it collides. So in this case, we'll be using only collision and deflector. And here we go. You can see particles are bouncing. Increase the size. The bounce is too much. Let's modify the parameters. Increase the friction. It should be more. That's better. And change the color. And I'll keep it 100% so I can see exactly how many particles will be rendered. And again, I'll modify the multiplier. Yeah, that looks better. Now, I'm gonna add a spin operator. What that will do is they'll start spinning. The particles will spin. And I can again add some variation. But the problem in this case is, even though particles stop moving, they still spin. So to stop the spin, we need to create another event. So as you can see, they're still spinning. So they should stop spinning as soon as they collide. So I'm going to create a new event. Stop spin. I'm going to connect it. As you can see, this is been transferred to another event. You can just drag this display, make it as an instance. Right now they are not affected by gravity, so I'll just drag this force again as an instance, and collision. Collision, I'll keep it as a copy so I can modify it. Here we go. And to stop, if you add speed operator, this will just stop the speed of the particles, but this doesn't stop your spin. So to stop the spin, you need to add spin operator. So I'm going to delete this and add spin. So I'll make it 0. As you can see, the particles are not spinning anymore. So as soon as they enter this event, they'll stop spinning. So as soon as they will collide, they'll stop spinning. As you can see, the lighter color particles. You can modify the spin. As soon as they collide, they stop. going to increase the spin rate, keep it a little high. Turn it back on. Okay, so we can add some more details and more variation by creating another event. In this case, I'll just use my collision spawn. As I said before, if you want the particles to be spawned as soon as they collide, you can use collision spawn operator. So you can define the offsprings. So how many particles are going to spawn, and I will drag this display and connect it to another event. It's always better to create another event so you get an individual control. You can control that event as you want. And again, I have to add collision and spin and gravity. As you can see, they're spawning, but they're quite identical. We'll reduce the spawn percentage by 80% and some variation. So not all the particles will spawn, only 80% of the particles will spawn. And we can add rotation, so it will have some random rotation. And as you can see, they're almost same in size. So we can add some variation by using scale operator, reduce the scale and increase the variation. So as you can see, if I say 50 particles will be spawned, it's so easy to add small debris just by simulating big chunks in Rayfire and then using particle flow. And this is what they use in most of the scenes. You can add so much detail by using these particles. 50%, and let's keep it 80 and just reduce it to 20. And I'm going to assign material static and drag my shader. Give some color. As you can, if you can hear this, there's some dogs barking behind. It's quite annoying. Anyways, so it's a bunch of dogs here. It's a group of 7-8 dogs on the street. Okay, back to work. As you can see, we can add some more variation in this. Let's increase the size. Add on the floor. And if you zoom in, if you see, the particles are below our floor. So to avoid that, you can just move your deflector a little bit up to match your geometry. Let's play. Looks alright. We can add more. So I'm gonna add in this event. I'm gonna just copy this and add a test called as split amount. So what this will do is split your specific number of particles. Right now it's 50% to another event. I'm going to rename this. This will be my small facts, and the another event will be large facts. So let's turn this off and let's check large facts. So I'm going to modify my scale accordingly. Scale. As you can see, adding some large and small variation, it looks more better. Alright, now let's add a Fume effects. So you can just create a Fume effects container. I'm gonna drag it over here. A little bit ahead. Make it a little large. I'm gonna create object source, as these are similar to in Rayfire. We can directly pick them as objects. So I'm gonna select all, or maybe you can just randomly deselect some of them. So it's not necessary you have to add in everything. Sometimes the geometry is too much. We just have to select a larger chunks. Maybe if there are Rayfire debris and there are like 100 debris, you can modify accordingly. So in this case, I have just turned off all fire stuff. We don't want fuel. We don't want to simulate fuel. This will be only smoke, as you can see. So the impact is after 9. So we gotta animate our object source. So we'll animate the amount of smoke. Auto key will be 0, and then 1. I'm gonna play with these keyframes. Yes, 0. So it will be active for a while and it will be turned off. Reduce spacing, common quality. Let's see. So as you can see, smoke is emitting, but it doesn't look like much of a dust. So let's reduce the temperature, maybe -50. So it will slowly move down. And I'll add a floor, so it will be colliding a floor. I'm going to reduce the opacity. And change the color. So let's see. As you can see, it's quite easy to just create fumes from our object source. And as you can see from the reference video, which I'm in, the dust is moving away. So we need to add a vent. I'm going to go force vent and change the direction. And I'm going to pick this vent. So I've added my vent in the Fume effects. Now the smoke dust will be affected by vent. And I'm gonna modify the start time for the fumes. So as it's gonna start from 9. Play from 9. Stop it and check. Let's tweak our keyframes a little bit. I want the dust to last for a longer time. And I'm gonna modify for previewing purpose. So I'm going to reduce it, and verticity, 9.5 turbulence, modify the scale, frames, detail, and maybe more turbulence. So this looks okay. I'm going to preview it. That looks alright. Tweak my grid size. We don't need that much height. And let's increase the quality by reducing the spacing. I'm gonna keep it 0.65 or maybe 0.75. So it depends on you how much detail you want in the simulation. I'm gonna increase verticity. And let's play. Yeah, I'm gonna pause the video and I'll be right back. Okay, preview simulation is done. I'm gonna make a preview. 104 frames. As you can see, you're getting much more details, the fumes. And currently it's looking too prominent because of the black background. So as you do lighting, shadows, and rendering, it will look a lot different. Okay, so this is what we have right now. Very simple. And let's add lights. I'm gonna add a Omni light. Turn on the shadows, maybe ray trace shadows, and then go in shadow parameters. Atmosphere shadows on. This is the must for the shadows. And then grab this light in Fume effects. Go in rendering, smoke, cast shadows, receive shadows on. Let's preview. As you can see, our dust is here. Maybe I'll tweak my opacity. It's 1. It will be much more denser now. So yeah, so you can go ahead and play with the parameters, and that's all. This is the very basic tutorial for the beginners, how to use Rayfire and particle flow and Fume effects. Hope this will help you, and yeah, you can achieve this very easily. And more tutorials will be coming soon. Thank you for watching.